help us and our community. So thank you for being here. All right, welcome to another edition of the Black Wealth Experience podcast. And so I am here with John Lewis today, and we are going to just chop it up about many of the things that he's been doing, the things that he has done to just help people create some generational wealth. And so one of the things that we love to talk about, we're both in the lending business, and one of the things that we believe in more than anything is homeownership, as being one of the first steps to acquiring wealth. Because there's all these different things that people will tell you when you talk to like a financial advisor. They're going to tell you you need to invest money, or even like Dave Ramsey, and I'm not saying that Dave Ramsey does a bad job, because Dave Ramsey does some incredible stuff of helping people get out of debt and helping people, but where it kind of falls short is you can't save your way to wealth. You can't save your way if you just say, I'm just going to put $100 in the bank or $400 in the bank. Well, 40 years later, if you're investing it and making some rate of return, you're going to do okay. But if it's just sitting at the bank at 1%, that money's going to double. So if you put $400 in the bank and you wait 72 years, in 72 years is 1% is going to be $800. So we really have to start thinking about, how are you going to, in your lifetime, start creating this thing called wealth. And one of the best ways to do it is through homeownership. And so today I have John Lewis on, and he is in the Atlanta ATL area. And he just does some phenomenal things for clients. He's been doing this business a while. I'm going to let him tell his story. But John, can you first, when we get started, thank you for being on today. We just appreciate the fact that you're here and you're getting on with me. And I know we get to do some stuff together. But if you can tell everybody how to get a hold of you first, and then we'll get into your story and how that works.
Hey, Brian, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate this. How you can reach me is at 770 by phone, 770-598-0860. Okay, or you can email me at john.lewis, okay, at cityfirst.com. That's john.lewis at cityfirst.com. Those are the best ways you can reach me.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. So tell us, how did you get involved? First, let's tell us a little bit about your background. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? What enticed you to get into this business, and what you've been doing over the last, I know you're only 29, but you've been doing over the last
several years. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So
yes. Well, my friend, I was raised in New York, upstate New York. Graduated actually in the middle of my senior year. My parents decided to move to Wilmington, North Carolina, and I went in the military, and after the military I went to school, and I had a good friend of mine. His brother was starting a mortgage company at 22, 23 years old. It came to me, hey, John, my brother's starting this new company called UMR. And, and his brother called me and he said, John, I'm going to change your life. I'm going to make a tax problem I'm going to create a tax problem for you. I was like, young and, just eyes wide open. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, I'm all for it. So that's pretty much how I got into the mortgage business. And I've been doing it ever since, my friend. So like you said, at 29 years old, it's been a wonderful ride.
Oh my God, that is so cool. So, when we think of it, thank you for your service, by the way, and being in the military and doing what you can to serve our country. And so one of the things that we really want to strive to do is we try to help vets as much as we can. And maybe you can kind of just tell a little bit about some of the things that you've been able to do over the years that have been able to help our veterans start acquiring some of these things called wealth.
Wow, let's see here. Well, a lot of people don't realize, being a veteran, it is so much easier to obtain a home. And we've gone through, above and beyond to help veterans achieve that end. Okay, in terms of, if you're a veteran, that means no more private mortgage insurance. Okay, no down payment, in a lot of the cases, you don't even have to have perfect credit. Okay, I will work with you all with a credit score down to 500. Okay, it there is no excuse for a vet or anyone for that matter not to be a homeowner, because that is one of the best and fastest way for you to accumulate wealth.
Yeah, let's talk about that right now. So, and you brought this up that there's no reason why somebody can't be a homeowner, and people are living like in apartments, and they're spending. I say this often in my shows that, if you're spending $2,000 a month, and I don't know how much rents go in the ATL area, but here in Colorado, that's probably a common area for 2 grand a month for an apartment. Well, if you do that for a year, you spent $24,000 on that apartment. You do that for 10 years, you now spent $240,000 living in that apartment when you can have ownership. And I think what people don't know, especially when we start talking about black wealth, is that there is this ability to start creating this wealth. And I find so many people who don't realize, hey, my mom didn't have a house, or my dad didn't have a house, or I grew up in this apartment and I can't get out, and I'm spending this money because I don't think I can have home ownership. But right now, I don't think there's a better opportunity with some of the programs that are out there that will allow people to get in as little as $1,000 into,
Absolutely.
I mean, is that what you're finding? I mean, what, yeah,
What
talk to
I'm
me.
finding, man, is it's incredible that people today, with the advent of technology that we have, that really don't know about this. So that gives me even more, it makes motivates me even more to want to get out and tell people, let people know that, hey, this is out here, and all you have to do is go for it. Do not be afraid. Stop thinking that, I can't do this, I can't do that. No, no. 90% of the time, yes, you can. And let's say, Brian, for one quick second,
Mhm.
that you can't today. That doesn't mean 6 months from now you won't be able to. Okay,
Mhm.
you just have to align yourself with a person that is willing to help you to get to that point. Okay, you may have a couple slow pays, couple here, things happen. Life, I call it life. Life happens, and I'm telling you, Brian, there's not a thing that other than death that somebody could have experienced in their lives that I personally have not experienced. Okay, I've been there, done that, and that makes me that much better equipped to assist you. Okay, because I know what it takes to get there. Okay, I've walked a mile in that shoe, so I know and I understand it.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I'm remembering and going back into, the days when I was trying to buy my first house, and then, I was a teacher, so I was getting paid once a month, and there wasn't these down payment assistance. It was, in the days where you have to put, 15, 20% down at the time. Now it's, less, you can really get in with somebody helping you with down payment assistance. But like you
Absolutely.
said, yeah, and you said you've walked in some people's shoes, and I know it's been hard out there, but if you can align with one of us or align with some of the folks that are out there, they can help you through the process. There's, these credit things, not understanding credit is a big thing. I mean, how many times have you had to walk somebody through, okay, this is what we got to do to help your credit get to where it's at. And there's the things like credit secrets and that kind of stuff that you can do that can turbocharge that, right? In not such a long period of time. We're not talking like 2 or 3 years. We're talking like,
That's a
how,
lifetime, buddy.
yeah, no, that's a lifetime when you think about that. So how have you helped some folks like, get that process from, hey, I'm not really ready right now. Like, what does that timeline look like for somebody who's like, I think I want to do this. You got to have a job. Now, I'm not telling you you have to have a job. I'm sorry, you got to
Amen,
have
brother.
a job
Amen. Amen.
or you
Yeah,
can.
Brian, that's one of the best things that people can tell me. Okay, I'm not ready now. Well,
Mm-hmm.
how do you know you're not ready?
Yeah. Oh,
Why do
that's
you think you're not ready?
yeah.
Okay, so now a lot of people think that they have to be perfect the last 10 years.
Right.
Okay, Brian, what most people do not know, okay, most of the programs we evaluate 24 months. 2 years. 2 years, Brian. So you put yourself together for 2 years, you're fine. Okay? And in some cases, you can have a slow pay, you know, and you can write a letter of explanation, okay, to the underwriter, explaining your circumstances and what happened and how you fixed it. Well, guess what? 95% of the time, your loan is going to get approved because life happens, Brian. Okay, people do not understand. What I do is I'll evaluate your credit personally, okay? And I know exactly what I'm looking for. Pretty much, I tell a lot of my clients, I can look at your credit report and within 30 seconds and tell you whether or not you're mortgageable, okay? And so some I need to dive deep into it, but for the most part, I'm going to look at the last 24 months. That is from 24 months back from the time that the date that I pull your credit, and that is exactly how it works. Give you a little story. I had a client that had a bankruptcy, okay, and that bankruptcy was due to fall off literally in 2 months, okay. The loan, I could not get it approved. I could not get it approved until that bankrupt. That was a hard line. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. Well, it's 24 months.
Yeah.
Some of the programs, you have to go 48 months. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know that, you think you can't do anything. We used to think there was a time when we thought bankruptcy was a death knell. We couldn't do anything else for the rest of our lives. Well, guess what, my friend? Times have changed. You know, in some cases, if you're in a chapter 13, you can still purchase a home. You just have to go through a trustee. But guess what? It's better while you're in the bankruptcy to buy, okay? Because everybody knows you're paying your debt, you're satisfying your debts. Okay? A lot of people don't know that. You know? So it's a lot easier. I implore people, stop thinking you can't. Start thinking, let me call somebody and see what they can do to help me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So maybe you can talk about some of the benefits of home ownership. Like what when somebody finally gets in that home and they own it, what's the difference, like the benefit you have as a homeowner compared to somebody who rents? And people tell me it's all like, well, there's no difference. And that, even in today, I almost assume sometimes that everybody knows, hey, this is what it's like to own a house. But if you've never owned a house, nobody in your family has ever owned a house. You know very few people that don't talk about it, because in our culture, right, how often do we talk about money and all this stuff? We don't. So what are some of those benefits that we have?
Oh God, Brian, let me tell you something. When you're renting, it's not yours. So you're taking to let's reference back what you said earlier. The $2,000 a month. You're paying $2,000 a month. You're actually paying that person's mortgage. Okay. And at the end of the year, you get nothing. Okay, you get nothing. You just spent $24,000. But as a homeowner, okay, you get the interest credit. Okay, on your taxes. That's number one. Number two is the increase in property value. Okay, now a lot of people, if you compare, this, you can check the history on this. Real estate has been the number one. We have to kind of omit the 2008, but still, look at what's happened in the market since. Okay, so real estate historically has produced better than 6% return, sometimes 8%. Okay, so if you bought a house today for 300,000, I'm not saying just guaranteed next year you're going to get 8% return, but I can always guarantee you're not going to still have 300,000 in equity. I mean, in that property, you're going to accrue some value, and that's where the wealth begins over time. As think of it as a seesaw. You're paying a mortgage payment, which you're also paying down on the principal. Okay, you're paying down on the principal. Meanwhile, on the other side, your property is increasing in value. Okay, on average, let's just say, make it easy. On average, we're getting 5% return. Okay, so next year, the house that you paid 300 for, now it's worth 315, and so on, and so on, and so on. So in 10 years, you may be looking at $75,000 in equity. Where are you? If you're in an apartment for 10 years, what do you have?
And what's the chance of you saving that 75 grand, right?
That there it is. Okay, it's
Yeah.
it's a savings account. Okay, so a lot of people. I mean, really, we need to really stop and think about considering buying a home. And I don't. And to be honest with you, we might get a lot of pushback in this. And I will admittedly, I'm biased because I'm in the business. But in my opinion, there is no bad time to buy real estate.
Mhm.
Okay, because it's going to do what it does. Okay, interest rate. I always tell people, marry the house, not the interest rates. Okay,
Mhm.
because interest rate will fluctuate, and you could take advantage of it. You use that tool. Okay, that's really what people need to do.
Well, and you're going to live somewhere anyways, right? So you're going to pay somebody something to live.
Thank you.
Why not have that make value? And I even tell people, even if it's an investment property, and you're still living with your mom, well, I want to wait till the rates go down. Get yourself an investment property because people are still going to pay you rent. People are still going to,
Exactly.
you
Brian,
make
think
some
of the
money.
opportunity cost. Think of the opportunity cost. Real estate is constantly rising. Okay,
Yeah.
real estate is constantly rising. So when you get ready to buy, what was 200,000 now is 250 or even more. So your buying power it diminishes with time.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, if it's today, there's, in my opinion, you may have some experts out there that will say no, take no. When stocks are down, when this is down, you want to take advantage. Okay, but with
Absolutely.
this, it's it goes up. It's constantly going up, and if you're not in it, guess what? You're not gonna win. Another benefit to being a home ownership, Brian. Let me ask you: Can you paint? Can you paint the walls in your house?
I can because I
Because you
own.
own it. My point exactly, my friend. But guess what? Guess what you can't do in an apartment complex
No, you sure
or
can.
rented house? You cannot do that.
No,
If you don't like the
no.
colors, guess what? You're stuck with them. You don't like something, you're stuck with it. But when
Yeah.
you're the homeowner, you can make those changes. Okay? And not only that, it's an investment into
Yeah.
your asset. So it's going to improve the value of it. So
Yeah.
so I go in here, and I change my kitchen. I revamp my kitchen. I finish my basement. Well, guess what? That basement is probably going to add $30,000 to $40,000 to my value. That kitchen,
Absolutely.
that kitchen is probably going to increase my value by another 60,000. So you're investing into your asset. Okay, you
Absolutely.
can't do that. You cannot do that in an apartment complex. And
No.
and and don't forget, you're paying for somebody else's mortgage.
Yep. Absolutely. Somebody else is making that additional
Thank you.
investment, that equity, that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's talk about the ATL because I know there's several people. Colorado is going skyrocket. There are some folks that say, "Hey, I want to live in a community that looks more like us," which is not Denver. It is Atlanta, and I know several people that have decided that they're going to move there. So, what is it like in Atlanta? What can somebody expect? I mean, are there different areas? What are prices like? What is if we can get you a home? What does that look like? Or is it good to invest in a home that's in Atlanta? What tell us about Atlanta?
Brian, I'm going to tell you, Atlanta in terms of pricing is like everybody everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
We have our pockets, but it's a beautiful city. Okay, you get all four seasons here. It really doesn't get cold. I mean, it gets cold, but it's not like a bone chilling cold like I used to experience when I was growing up in New York. Okay,
Of course.
so I mean, I'm literally outside with a sweater. Okay, that's pretty much it. But then again, I hate the cold, can't stand it, but I can deal with that. That's fine. But in terms of Atlanta, what people can get, you know, what do you like? We have all flavors. We have different areas, okay? And so it depends on what tickles your fancy. What you would like. We have everything you can ever imagine. Every culture. Oh my God, man, it's a melting pot. It is a melting pot. Now, the only thing I would say I don't like anymore is the traffic.
That's
The traffic
everywhere.
is horrendous.
In every
But
big city.
other
Yeah.
man, other than that, I mean, I could think if you think of Atlanta. A lot of people reference Atlanta, but Atlanta, there's so much to Atlanta, it's unbelievable. Okay, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, Forsyth County, DeKalb County, Paulding County, all these different places, man, and it's here, you know, and it depends on where you work. Okay, the school. A lot of people, school's important. Okay, and we move to make sure our children get the best of education, and so we have all that here. So it is wonderful. I've been here. I've been here for the more than half my life, and I love it. And my kids often ask, mainly my son, of all the states, which one is your favorite? you know, and I have to say it's Georgia, my friend, because I've lived in New York and North Carolina and spent some time in Florida, really, but Atlanta has really been Georgia has been my favorite, and so to be honest with you, Georgia has so much to offer,
That's so
and
cool.
the pricing is not really that bad either. But
Mhm.
we're not Colorado, we're not California, we're not New York. We're somewhere below the middle of
Okay.
those. You can still get you a very very nice home for a good price.
Gotcha. So you would say that you're kind of in that middle, like you're higher than North Dakota, but less than
Yeah, yes,
California, right?
yes,
Because
yes. Oh,
he wants to
definitely.
live
Oh my goodness, yes, definitely,
wants to
definitely.
live in North Dakota,
Okay.
right?
So,
But I'm sure it's beautiful there, but cold as heck. Yeah, I get in
oh
North
my
Dakota, so
goodness, oh
nobody would ever go there. Yeah, I would love to ask you this question because I usually ask most of my guests there. You're in this business and you're a successful person in this business. What do you think your superpower is? As far as helping folks out and getting them to where they want to be and helping them achieve their dreams. What would you say the best thing you do is?
Brian, this probably sounds um, for lack of better word, corny.
Okay.
My superpower is being able to do what other people cannot
Oh,
or
I love it.
won't do.
I love it.
I can't tell you. Brian, I can't tell you how many times when I get a phone call. Oh, John, can you help me? So and so couldn't do this. So and so they told me this couldn't happen. They told me that couldn't happen. And a lot of times, Brian, it's spending a little bit of extra time to to do that. To look at really look at the file and look for a reason to do the file, not for reasons not to do the file.
That is so cool because there's so many people, and even in our industry,
Yes,
there are agents in our industry that don't want to take the time. They want the lay down. You have 20% down. You have 700 FICO scores. You have $100,000 is 20% down. You have all those things, and they said that's the files I want. Where our community, it's especially when you're looking at first time home buyers and folks that haven't known what to set up. Mom and dad haven't given them anything to walk them through what it takes. But then we start building a community, right? We start building a group of homeowners who now are teaching their kids. And so,
yes.
in our generation, I'm able to help not only the mom, that I did 20 years ago, but now I'm helping the daughter or the son. Isn't that the most amazing thing? And then
Oh
you
my
think,
God. Oh, Brian, I gotta tell you this, man. I
please,
actually had three generations. I
oh,
helped
really?
I helped grandma,
Hmm.
okay, and then the daughter, and
Hmm.
then the granddaughter. because me and my wife, we were in Sam's, not a
Mhm.
plug for Sam's, but we were doing some shopping, and I ran into her, and she was like, "Oh my God, Mr. Lewis," and this little girl was 15 years old, 15 years old, Brian, and here
15.
we were. When I ran into her, she was 30. And she was
Wow.
like, "Oh my God!" She had been married. She had
Mhm.
two kids and one on the way, and they were looking for a home. Brian, I got to tell you, man, that was the most exciting day.
Oh, that is so cool.
That
That is
that I
amazing.
sat there. I sat there, Brian, and I didn't. I didn't. I don't want to say I got emotional, but for the mere fact that I helped her grandmother, I helped her
Mhm.
mother,
Mhm.
and now I'm helping her. And that spoke volume to me, man. And
Oh,
that really that day it really got to me. It reinvigorated me. You know, to continue to do what I do. Is it easy? No, it's not. It's what we do it's mentally hard. It's not physical. It's mentally hard. Okay, you have to get the client. You have to make sure you have to get them approved, and a lot of times you have to fight to get them approved. But at the end of the day, to sit across them at the closing and they're signing, that is the absolute. That's my euphoria, man. I mean, I love it. And then at the end of the day, these people just signed a 30-year mortgage.
mhm.
For the next 30 years, you're going to have to pay for this. And they look at you and say, thank you. And more than 80, 90% of them are hugging you afterwards.
Yeah, that
Okay.
is so true.
And there's not one person that I've done business with and I could not go into their home and be invited in and have dinner with them.
That is so many. And you talk about generational wealth. That is the absolute 100% definition of
Yes, sir.
generational wealth is you see your kids and your kids and your kids' kids be able to obtain home ownership and then be able to have the beauty of the equity and everything else and then have the peace of mind to be able to do some other investments
Yes,
and that
sir.
kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So thank you
Absolutely.
for doing. Oh man, that is such a great story. So we are, you're not gonna believe we are at our time. We are running. We have been talking for
Already.
all this time. It goes so fast, but I'm gonna have you back. And maybe we can have a client or somebody on that could talk about, some of the things that you've been able to do out there in the ATL. Please make sure you tell everybody right now again how to get a hold of you, and then maybe any other closing thoughts that you would have for us in this edition of our Black Wealth Experience podcast.
Again, Brian, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this, for inviting me. I've thoroughly enjoyed. How you can reach me is 770-598-0860. Again, that is 770-598-0860. And you can also drop me a quick email at john.lewis, that is John, John Lewis, Louis, at cityfirst.com.
Gotcha.
And Brian, man, I'm thoroughly impressed with you and your knowledge base and what you are doing. Like I told you earlier, anytime you come up on my feed, all I hear is good morning, good morning, good morning, and dude, I gotta tell you, energetically it changes me. If my vibrations were low, it increases my vibrations. Okay, so I want to tell you, continue to do what you're doing because because it's very needed. It is, man. I can't tell you. And I'll be more than happy. I will be more than happy, my friend, to come back in here and chat with you as many times as you ask me to.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Well, thank you again for being on. Hey, I say this at the end of every show. You can do this. And I want to make sure everybody understands you can do this. John and I just talked to you for a half hour about making sure you know the things that are out there are available for you to do this. The second part is you deserve this. You know, our country was built on the backs of a whole lot of us that did a whole lot of things. Our ancestors, not us personally, but our ancestors were standing on their shoulders, on their giants, and you deserve to have everything this country has to offer. And home ownership is one of those things. And the last part of it is let us help you. You know, there's some things that we do that we know how to do because we do this on a day in and day out. You're not buying a house every week or every 2 weeks, but we're working with some petty every week or every 2 weeks. And so let us help you. And if you don't know, like I know if you, let's say you're wanting to move to the ATL, you know, call John. He's going to find an amazing real estate agent that's going to take you along. They're going to qualify you. They're going to make sure that you have everything you need to be able to be successful in that area when you want to move. We want to help you. Believe me, I promise you, we want to help you. And it's not, you know, sometimes you say, well, it's just about the money, but it's not just about the money. For us, it is about how do we help us in our community. So thank you for being on another edition of the Black Wealth Experience podcast. We look forward to talking to you on the next one. See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Well, thank you for tuning into our podcast today. It has been a fantastic opportunity for us to show you exactly what we're trying to do in the community. And that is to help people to make sure that they have the ability to realize home ownership. And so my name is Brian Arnold. I am a lender. I'm with City First Financial. And so if you have questions, I'm not doing this podcast so that we can, rush all the business over to City First Financial. I'm doing this podcast so that we can make sure that you are taken care of, that you have a real estate agent, that you have a loan officer, that you have a credit repair person, that you have an insurance person, that you have a financial advisor, all working with you towards making your home ownership realization happen. We're also going to be talking about, wealth generation and what it means to pass on to the next generation. I do trust and wills and making sure that the money that you've accumulated during your lifetime actually passes on to the next generation without going through a thing called probate. And so we want to make sure that we have some unique different things that we may have talked about on this thing that can help you think about what that's going to look like. So thank you again for communicating. Go ahead and subscribe to these YouTube channels, whether it's on YouTube that you're watching the video, or if you are just listening to this on a podcast, that you are subscribing to the podcast, because we are going to have some amazing guests that are coming on and some amazing content. So thank you for the blackwealthexperience.org and getting on that and just coming in and listening to us and then taking advantage of the resources that we're hopefully and education that we're hopefully giving to you. So you have a wonderful, awesome, incredible, awestruck day. You are God's greatest gift, and I want to make sure that you know that. Talk with you guys soon.